I'll come and tell you you messed up. I learned to be quiet, settle down, cover up, and stuff it way, way, way down. Well, they say, ooh, she's so dysfunctional.
There is nothing more exciting than a new musical. And I am excited to tell you about a new musical, which is very rare in these parts. I can't even remember. This is Kalia Flowers. You have written a new musical for Selma Arts Center. That itself in itself is like big news right there.
Yeah.
Tell us about Dysfunction.
Wow. What do you want to know? Ooh.
Well, I guess first of all, how did it all start?
Wow. Yeah. So Dysfunction, to be truthful, Dysfunction's original concept was actually conceived when I was very young. I was about 15 years old. And it wasn't called Dysfunction, though. It was called Strong. And it was this other musical entirely. But I had this idea, and I really wanted to write a musical theater. And all the art forms in general were very it was like an escape for me at that time. So it was very much like in my inner world, like doing all the things. And so that's kind of where it started. And then obviously you grow up and you depart from ideas that you had. And so I had my second born son, who's 3 now. And I had reconnected with Claudio, who's also my friend from high school. And, we were just chatting or whatever. And the idea was put in my head to submit something for the Selma Originals, and I had been wanting to do it a few times, but then the pandemic came and, made things a little challenging. So I was like, okay, if I was going to do something, what would I do? And so I'm looking through old songs, and I'm like, okay. So I took this idea that I had already had for a few songs, and then thought, okay, what if we did a mini song cycle, because the parameters for the originals was that you could only have 8 people in your cast and the show couldn't be longer than 20 minutes.
And just the originals is like a showcase of new work.
Yeah, it's a really amazing opportunity at the Selma Arts Center, produced by Claudio, who, and basically it's just an opportunity to showcase your work. And it's just this much of it, but it's a chance to get your work on stage and kind of also see how you do as a budding director or a choreographer or things like that, right? It's an opportunity for you to try something out in a smaller sort of condensed fashion. That's more of not really a fundraiser, but just an opportunity to get people into the Arts Center. And so it was really cool that my piece was chosen. But so I guess in that process, I was like, okay, let me find a way to make a 20-minute musical. And so I was like, the easiest way I could think of to do it was to take snippets of songs that I'd already written and kind of smash them together. And due to my own upbringing and my life experiences, a lot of those songs were centered around this theme of this is a lot of emotions all over the place. And so my thought was, okay, we'll make it a song cycle and we'll call it Dysfunction. And that was the first, and it makes me laugh because I'm like, wow, that was the first time when I was like, oh, we're gonna call it Dysfunction, a song cycle. And so there were 8 songs, or there were 11 songs technically, but 8 true songs. And the whole thing was 20 minutes. Each song was 45 seconds to a minute long. And Claudio and I had co-directed the project for that iteration together. And that was the start. And it was, again, this big, very small.
And so now it's grown. Now it's actually a musical.
Absolutely. Yeah.
90 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
How big is your cast?
Oh gosh, my cast. We have a cast of about, I want to say 25 friends. So it's a pretty large cast for the stage, but it's awesome.
And are the numbers, are they all solos? Are they're duets? Do you have any big ensemble numbers?
Oh yeah, there's big ensemble numbers. It's very much an eclectic show, so it's not just songs all the way through. I didn't get to say it before, but what was once a 20-minute song cycle has now become just a musical. And I like to compare it to 35 millimeter Meets Hair. So there's very much anecdotal moments happening, right? You get to peer into someone's life and their experiences with dysfunctional behavior and dysfunctional relationships with the world around them. So there are duets, there are trios, there are lots of solos, lots of big group numbers. There's poetry, there's rap, there's dance, movement. It is very much it's really cool.
Oftentimes, a new musical on Broadway, say, goes through this very torturous process where they workshop it,
Mhm.
they throw songs out. They're
Yeah.
pretty cutthroat
Yeah.
about it. Did you go through a similar process?
I mean, I would say it's less cutthroat because the stakes aren't as high, right? I think if you're in New York City and you're like, you want your thing to make it, and everyone's talking about, oh, is your thing going to make it, or this person's doing a thing over here, and that person, and you're in that realm, and this feels a little bit more like big fish, little pond. So it's like the thing is cool for where we're at, and so it gets attention, and it hasn't been scrutinized very much, but that's sure to happen. But I've been very cutthroat with my own piece, right? And it is still in a developmental workshopping process, and technically this iteration of it at the Selma Arts Center is a workshop, right? And so, yeah, this process has been killer from start to now. From when we auditioned everybody at the end of January to right now, we haven't cut any songs since we started production, but the whole writing process has just been me being like, no, or like, oh, bring that back, actually, just kidding, And so, yeah.
Did you write any songs for a particular voice or a particular person?
We started with a cast of 8 friends, and so my hope when I was writing some of these songs was that some of those friends would return. And so there were some songs that I wrote. I didn't write anything specifically for people, but I was like, ooh, if you were to audition, this would be a cute one. You should audition. You know what I mean? So a lot of that was happening. And then obviously there's people in the community who I love and admire. And so my hope still is that, like, as it goes on, like, I'm hoping I can get like all those special peeps from the community to be a part of this project, because there are a few names that I could hear singing the songs.
Can you talk just a little bit more about maybe the overarching theme? I mean, what does your show have to say about dysfunction? I know that dysfunction is pretty much a human universal.
Yeah.
So is it about coping? Is it about embracing? What?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
So dysfunction, I'm going to do the little tagline right now, but dysfunction is about trauma and how we move forward after the things that happen to us, right? And so I think that we live in a world where we have social media and we have these expectations put on us that we have to be like you're going to be considered a strong person if you don't let it show that anything is wrong. And that is backwards, right? And like the true strength is in the vulnerability. The true strength is in how soft you are and being honest about the things you've been through in your life and like forging your way forward and finding community with other people. And that's the show, right? It's about like, when you hear dysfunctional, like in order for something to be dysfunctional, something has to be functional, right? So those of us who identify with this word dysfunction think that they are alone and that they are not normal, and it's normal, So I guess that's a broad way of talking about what it is, but you'd really have to just come and see it.
Okay.
Check it out.
So let's do a little bit of role play here. So
okay.
I am a person who likes musical theater, but I only like to go to shows that have already been on Broadway and that are, Sound of Music. I would go see Sound of Music every year.
Yeah.
What do you say to me to convince me to go see something new?
If I was being ambitious and like a little egotistical, I would say it's not a smash hit yet, but it will be.
Okay.
And you should come see it so that you can be a part of this process now before it blows up.
I think that's actually a really good tactic, because also people do like to be in on the ground floor.
Yeah. And that was the way that I could get people to audition. I was like, doesn't it sound awesome to be a part of this new work? Your name's in the script. Is it the original cast? You know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
There is nothing like going to a show when it's completely unknown. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. And I think it's scary, right? Like even asking people to come audition for it and it's not something you can look up.
You
like,
never know.
For?
You never know.
Yeah.
I remember years and many years ago, I got a chance to see Wicked. I remember I took my mom, San Francisco, first tryout before it went to Broadway.
That's really amazing.
And there was,
That
I knew there was
raw,
something
like,
special there,
yeah,
but I've also been to shows that I've actually really loved that didn't go
yeah,
on.
and that's
But there's still
life. Yeah.
something really special about being there on that ground floor, being one of the first people to see it. To hear it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And you should come see it, Donald Munro.
Absolutely.
I think,
Absolutely.
yeah, I'd love to see you out there.
Well, before I let you go, what do we need to know about this production? When does it play? When
Yes.
can people see it?
Yeah, so this iteration of Dysfunction, a new musical, I'm getting used to the new name, is going to be on stage April 10th through the 19th at the Selma Arts Center. You can get tickets at selmaartscenter.com. They're live right now.
Well, great. Like I say, exciting stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much.